Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mohammed, for that introduction. Um, this is the Canadian Cloud Summit 2022, and I'm really excited to be here to be sharing my presentation with you guys. But before we proceed, can we just give a shout out to the sponsors of this event? Because without them, yeah, they've really done well. Amazing sponsors. Thank you very much for sponsoring this Canada Cloud Summit for this year. And the title of my presentation today will be all about customer journeys in Dynamics 365 for marketing. All right. So before I proceed, my name is Chime, just as Mohammed said. I'm a senior Dynamics 365 Power Platform functional consultant. I'm based out in London, and I'm in a bit of overview of my Dynamics 365 and Power Platform, kind of like working live, I would say. I've been working within this landscape for the past 5 years now. I've worked in multiple Dynamics 365 projects in various sectors like, healthcare, banking, insurance, and mostly the UK public organization. Okay. So my session, yes, is to provide or give you an overview of customer journeys in D365 for marketing. One thing that we need to know about customer journeys as well is it does help to ensure we have a seamless marketing experience for a business. Most businesses do have obviously a marketing department, sales department, but customer journeys is a feature that we have within Dynamics 365 for marketing that ensures that we have this experience, that we have our campaigns, that all the campaigns that we set out in our application are always landing correctly with the intended audience that we have in mind. Okay. So just to kick off, I've got a QR code there. As you can see, these are my contact details. Just feel free to give me a shout on LinkedIn or just send me an email if you have any more questions after this, or you just want to connect with me. Okay. As part of the presentation, I have different things that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at some different things within the application. So I've set up like an agenda for what I will show you through during this presentation. We'll be looking at, what exactly is Microsoft Dynamics 365? I mean, some people would like to know what this third-party application is all about. What are the basic key features that we have within this application as well? I mean, this is not a general marketing, I would say training, but before we get into or land into our customer journeys, which is the introduction of this piece, we need to touch about I created a scenario where we have an event. There's an event going on. I'll walk you through that event. I've got like a fictional event for Kainos. Kainos has a cloud summit for beginners. That's an event. So we're going to be looking at the event management area of Dynamics 365. We set up our events. We will track our segments within that event as well. And obviously, we're tracking our segments. We're also tracking people that have registered for our event. Yeah. So those that will eventually be attending the event will also, be tracking them using this feature in the D365 for marketing. The next thing that we're also going to be looking at is segments. I just mentioned that, but we have to invite a group of people, like our contacts within the application. We have to group them and invite them to this event. So I'll be using a dynamic segment, and I'll be showing you the differences between a dynamic segment and a static segment on how we can do that, right? So in my scenario, I just created contacts. I'm using a trial instance, by the way, but I created a contact. So contacts that live in Toronto, in Canada, are the people that we're going to be grouping as a segment. Okay. Then what we do now after that is to create a different sets of emails. We can have things like obviously people have to be invited to this event, which is like an invitational email. When they also create like a thank you email, like a reminder emails and things like that. Yeah. So because these are things that we're going to be using to handle within that journey. Okay. So the next one is just customer journey. So this is basically the final piece of the puzzle. This is where I'll be putting all the things that I've built into the actual journey itself. So from the journey, the customer or the contact will now start receiving the email. Yeah. So within D365 for marketing, this is actually the core element, or will I say the foundational piece of D365 for marketing. So I will design that journey. I'll design that journey. I'll show you the demo of that journey as well. And yeah, send tracking, people that have registered, email them, and also and things that you will be able to see in a minute. Okay. I've also got, like, if you want to know about marketing has a trial environment for 30 days, you can also spin that up and be able to curate some of these features and capabilities for yourself. Yeah. There's also learning resources on Microsoft Docs as well that have some links to that will also be, I'll be able to show you some of the core capabilities of this. Okay. So with that much wasting of time, just a quick one. For people that don't know what Dynamics 365 for marketing is, basically just a marketing automation application. Is very, very easy to use. Like, I say it's easy to use. One of my best pieces within the Dynamics 365 third-party applications. This includes a lot of applications and features, as we can see here. There's different areas for, like, your outbound marketing, your real-time marketing, your event planning, and various things that you can be able to find on here. It's actually kind of like um, 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 the bundles, like, or the apps or the features is kind of like bundled in such a way that your marketing department will also be able to use it and coordinate with your sales departments. It works in hand with your sales hub application as well. There's also like different add-ons that you can have on here as well. Things like your LinkedIn lead gen. If you want to connect your leads or your contacts via LinkedIn into the marketing application, these are also some series of add-ons that you can be able to get as part of the marketing package. All right. So we know all what marketing is. It's just all about nurturing our leads. Um, Messages is the core element. Emails, as well, at every stage of our engagement with our customers, we send personalized messages to them, basically helping them to transform and improve the effectiveness of their marketing, basically. If we look down here on that, I'm really going to be focusing on outbound marketing for this presentation. But if we look basically on this area, you have the event management space area within the application. If we go to an event, remember I said the scenario that I've built up is about an event, a beginners cloud summit for an organization. So if I just filter by newest one, so I've got an event that is running already, but I've got another version of that event. So I just wanted to talk to you about some of the features of the event capabilities within the application. So this is now where you come to create your event, obviously give it a name. You have the ability to give what type of event that is as well. So many elements here that you can see. Like I said, I've got one that is running, but you can come in here and customize so many things, like, say, for example, your event URL. If you want to enable a marketing form for your registrations within your email, you also have the ability to come here and do all that, create leads for events. And if it's things that has to do with registration and attendance, you also can come in here and start creating, like, past event registration. If you get any responses from those events as well, they will all be on this event space here. I mentioned about event having its own area, event management area. So things like your event planning, who registered for your events, things like that. Who are your event team members, people that help you to run that event, for example. If you have any speakers, any people that participate as part of that event, you can also come here and manage quite there's loads of stuff here. It's a rich marketing automation. Things like your buildings, your event vendors, but let's leave it like that. All I'm trying to say is I've created one that we'll be using to run through the marketing journey space. Okay. The next thing on my list is just an overview. A slide just, an overview of what the marketing application is. We've actually just seen something like that. And I mentioned about the event management space. So this is how the demo one that I've kind of like built looks like, where you now be able to go in. If you create an event within D365 for marketing, you get an email and then you click and register for that event. But we'll see how all this applies along the journey itself. After the event creation, the next thing that we're going to be looking at is segments. I just mentioned segments. For example, if you think there's so many examples of segments, right? We can also think about scenarios like if you're opening a store, say for example in London, you just want to promote the opening day event at that store to your contacts who live like maybe close to your postcode or who live closer around the M25. So you can now start segmenting collection of those your contacts that you want to target within a customer journey. Okay. There's so many scenarios, but in this scenario, I've got a segment, like I said, where the city that people live in is in Toronto. I'll just quickly show you what that looks like within the application itself. So if we go into outbound marketing and on the customers, we've got segments here. So like I said, I've created a Kainos bootcamp invitation as part of my segment. Is a dynamic segment. There's two types of segments. We have a static and a dynamic segment. So basically what a static segment means that you can actually go in and add your contacts from your D365 application as segments. You cannot change them once you run that live, but dynamic segments, yes, you can. If I have segments of a contact that their address is in Toronto, I can say, yeah, they are 10, for example, today. Tomorrow, there might be a contact that the address city is in Toronto. It's dynamic, so it changes frequently. It can also reduce when that contact's city is no longer Toronto, for example. So in here, this is how you just kind of like segments, give your segmentation a name. We use things like we use queries to segment our dynamic segments, for example. So by adding query blocks, so you can go into all the tables that within like your Dynamics 365 application. But in this scenario, we're looking at, say, for example, contacts. So within the contact table, what attributes do you have under that contact table? You can use any just to build that segments. It can be based on demographic, it can be based on behavior, it can also be based on demographic, for example. So demographic being, okay, yeah, what area do you live in, what country, and then you can also go into behavior wise, how many people have clicked or how many people have opened an email. As you will see, you can see that behavior block here as well. And yeah, different types of you can also add segment blocks. So instead of just saying one segment for a contact, you can actually add another segment by using inclusions and exclusions, like conditional statements to actually group those segments. All right. So in our example, is just a basic segmentation. You can have simple segments. You can also have very complex segments as well. Okay, so within this Kainos Bootcamp cloud invitation, as you can see there, you also need to have that ability to, before you let your segments go to live, you need to be able to check for errors, make sure there's no errors within your segments. If there's any errors, it will give you a warning sign and tell you what's wrong with that segment. If you go into members for the segments that we've built, within my contact database, you can see I've got contacts that their city is in Toronto. So I've got about 28 here. That's how you just start specifying or start building out your segments. Within the tables or we have in D365 for marketing, you can also see that we have things like insights. So this is quite a core feature that is used within the marketing services. So basically the services that run behind the D365 marketing application. So it gives, it helps you to track and shows you obviously what goes on behind the scene of your tables. Okay. So most of the tables within the application do have like a marketing insights that you can actually go in and find out a bit more information about that. So you can see on this one, it just tells you what time, um, basically what time and everything, what time a segment or a contact has been, or how many number of segments within a particular date has been there. Okay. So this is all about segments, and this is what we're going to be using to build out this customer journey. As I said, there's different elements or different types of segments that we've seen. The one that I didn't show you is a static segment. Basically, like I said, is just a way for you to, give it a name, a test segment, for example, distribution time zone, and save that. Instead of being dynamically, you just have that ability to start adding your members, adding your queries within your contact base, look for them, and add those contacts into your static segments, right? Yeah, some people prefer to use this. If you know that things are not going to change or your segments are not going to change over time, you can use this. Also, you can also have the ability to add a query to build out those segments on your own. This is just a slide. Obviously, we've got these three types of segments that I've just explained to you. And just, some more details about this segmentation. Then once we've built out our segments, the next thing that we have to do to run that customer journey is to build out our marketing email. Like I said at the very beginning, email is a vital marketing channel, for most modern organizations that we have. It's actually a core feature of this application. D365 marketing can also be able to send large volumes of personalized marketing emails. You can monitor these emails. You can monitor how, your contacts or your recipients of this email, how they interact with them. Like I said, is it bounced, is email clicked, is email opened? You can also use that to drive your entire customer journey automation based on the interactions that you receive from your marketing email. Yeah. Why I mentioned about emails here is basically you cannot send out email within the application to a recipient or a contact within your business or outside your business, because you need to design an email. Sorry, you need to design a customer journey, and within that customer journey, you need to include that email and then schedule that, as we'll see in a matter of minutes. If I go back to the application itself and open up a marketing email, I've also created a series of emails, as you can see here. I've got emails, do you have last chance to register, reminder emails, thank you emails if you registered, but we are going to be looking at, say, for example, the invitation email. So for the Kainos Cloud Bootcamp, you have an invitation email that is also live, is running, but I also created a different version just to explain a bit further about some of the features of D365 marketing email. So this is basically a graphical interface, like your simple drag and drop. For example, if you want to include something, an image, you just click and drag it onto the canvas, which is the design canvas. You have the ability to now start manipulating how you want this email to look. I must say I'm not the greatest designer when it comes to designing some of these things, but yes, this is the one that we created for the cloud invitation. just as simple. You also have the ability to create your marketing emails from templates. There are some standard templates that Microsoft has within the application that you can actually curate from as well. Yeah. So with this, you have to give your, like every other thing, you have to come in here and give your email. Like email needs to have a subject um, in order for that to send out from this application. You also have so many some capabilities of personalization. Say, for example, you want to personalize a contact when they receive the email. So you can use your assist edit button here and do some dynamic content things like your first name, last name, full name. You now start using this enhancement properties within the application to start, personalizing it to your recipients. Example, I want this one to go onto the first name. Um, and it comes out with a dynamic content that I can include um, onto my subject. So you can, contact first name. So it's nicer. I mean, I would say if you get an email from an organization and your name is on that, is personalized to you, basically. Is always a good feel. So we also have things like our settings here. Who do you want to send this? You can also dynamically include the people that you want to send this email address to. You also have your from address. It might not be from the address that you have that is registered in your domain. You can actually also do a test send by using a different type of email, Yahoo, Gmail email, just to do a test send on this. One thing to also note is for every marketing email, it needs to run live. It needs to be live in order for you to be able to use it within a journey itself. Okay. There's a heap of features. There's loads of stuff that we can do when it comes to marketing emails. Is all about links. Do you want this in this scenario? Because it's an event that we are running, so it's best that when they receive an email or when the recipient receives an email and they click on a button, it just takes them directly to an event. It doesn't have to be an event. It can also be like a URL. It can also be even like, you can join Teams. Say, for example, you're running an event in Teams as well. It also has that capability to actually connect and join up in Teams. Pages, customer voice. We can also link up to customer voice, for example, surveys that we do. You can also have a link so your recipient will now click and fill out some surveys via customers, using customer voice. Yeah, some cool features here, but I'll just show you the one that similar, but yeah, the one that we have running, different types of email, like I said. So if I just quickly show you, I'm also worried about the time, just quickly show you what the email template looks like. So whenever you hit on create an email, a new marketing email, you have this ability, like it allows you to actually select an email from a template. Like I said, different types of email. You can base it based on filters. What content types do you want? You can actually look for your marketing emails that way as well. If we go further down, we also have so many different templates when it comes to marketing. You have your forms, your pages. We're not really going to go into much detail on those ones, but you also have templates that you can curate on this and to be able to use it within the within your marketing email services or marketing activities, should I say. Yeah, so that's just about emails here. And then the next thing on the plate is more about customer journeys. We've created all these processes, but what really is customer journey? For me, it's just that process. Yeah, it's just simply a process that allows you to kind of like engage with your potential or existing customers. Like I mentioned before, you can't just send an email. It has to go through a customer journey. Yeah. You might also hear in marketing terms of this being referred to as campaigns. Yeah, campaigns, the same thing, customer journeys, though, marketing campaigns can also include multiple customer journeys. Yeah. So once you start engaging with your customers, um, you can use this to start discovering your products, or they can use it to start discovering your products as well. Yeah, just using it to kind of like blend with your customers, whether you have offers that you want to give to them, like you see, whether you want to invite them to events, or whether you want them to feel like a customer, so you want to send them to a page embedded on your website, things like that. If you want to be able to curate leads back into your organization, if you want to create new contacts, you can use a customer journey to do all this, right? It's just a model that guides you. Okay, if I quickly look at some of the conversation that I'm getting, that's fine. I'm a very interactive person, like when it comes to presentations. So just feel free to ask any questions at any time. I hope I'm not going too fast. It's just that there's some things I need to cover and we don't really have enough time, right? So when it comes to journeys, right? So under your marketing execution part of the D365 application, you can see where we have customer journeys. Customer journeys is also something that we can create via templates, or you can just create it from scratch. Yeah. So based on the scenario that I've given, I've got a journey here, but I've got another version that we can, dig in and look at some of the features and of the customer journey. So like I said, it's just a graphical representation, something that you kind of like, build a cost a kind of like a customer journey will always start with a segment. So based on what segments that you have within the that you want to use along that journey. As you can see, we created a segment earlier on, and we just called it a cloud invitation, a bootcamp invitation of contacts that live in Toronto. It doesn't have to start from there. It can also be something that we call like your subscription lists as well. So things like your weekly newsletters, monthly newsletters that you have within your organization, you can also start driving customer start driving a customer journey through those lists as well. Just to quickly show you some of these things that I'm talking about here. So a source type of a segment, and if you go down, it doesn't have to be a segment. Like I said, it can be via a form submission that has been embedded on your website. It can be that you can start driving that journey from there as well. Yeah, but on the example that we have here, we created one. So what is the next thing that we need to do? We need to be able to, we've included that segment here. As you can see, the Kainos Cloud Camp invitation. We also have an email, but we have a series of, these are called tiles within the customer journey. So we have a series of tiles that, say, for example, you send out an email, then what happens, right? So you want them to register when they receive that email. You also have a happy part and a not so happy part. If they do that registration, what happens? You start building your journey based on if they've signed it, or do you want them to, how long do you want to wait? Do you want to schedule it before something else happens? They gone on the happy part. They have registered for the launch of the Kainos Cloud Beginners Bootcamp, but they want to be able to come in here and also
Chime, we do have a
receive.
question on the
Sorry.
chat group over here. The question is it possible to segment by leads instead of contacts, or are we restricted to use only contacts?
You can actually segment by leads as well. So you remember I showed you on the query block, I just use contacts because but you can, based on your query block, you can select the lead table and then start building your segments from there. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Ega?
Thank you.
Yeah, so you start building out this within the journey, and I mean that's pretty much. And within the triggers as well that you've got on here, you have like say for example a good one would be like an email. What do you want to include on that email? Do you have some elements that you want? I know we didn't talk about forms and pages, but you can also embed your forms and your pages within your marketing email just simply by adding those items onto your email. You also have customer voice survey now, like I mentioned. You can also add that or into your email. When it comes to this is also a very cool feature that Microsoft has here. When it comes to scheduling this email, you don't want to send an email to your contacts when or your customers on the weekend, right? You don't want to send them email. You now start using some of these functionalities to limit the time, what times you want to send those emails to them, and you start scheduling them, whether you want to send them emails in the mornings or in the afternoon, things like that. Yeah. If we go to the one that I've created already, I can talk through some of those features in more detail. If you look at this one is already live. We're using it. So we've added our segments, we've added our marketing email onto this. It's already running, right? But you have to also bear with me that because I'm using some trial instance and there's some contacts obviously that haven't got anything on them. But what I want to specify is that if you click on any of these tiles, if you click on the segment and look on the right hand side, you can start getting a bit of a feel into what this has done, what has been processed, what segments was processed, what is there one that hasn't been processed, is there some that are in the queue. You start looking into your audience, into your data on the right hand side. On the email, but in particular, if you click on the tile itself, you can also look at, say, for example, the funnel. What was delivered? Was there any unique clicks? Was there any opens? You start getting a better picture of what you've or your recipients of how they behave or how they interact with the email that you sent to them. Another cool thing that we have here is I know we mentioned about segments. We can create it by leads or contacts. There's also this where if you look at, say, for example, all the unique opens, people that opened up, the email, you can click on this button here and create another segment out of this. So basically, you can create segments based on people that have unique clicks or unique opens for your email, right? If there's people that have been, the emails have been bouncing or there's some hard bounces, you can also curate a segment of that and you create it. So for our scenario here, yes, we do have send an email. If that email is registered, what happens here? But like I said, I'm just using a dummy data, and yeah, some of these things didn't come through on my emails because obviously they're dummy data. It doesn't exist. But yeah, this is the process of how you can come in and build out these emails using so many different things. We also have insights for our customer journey. On our insights, you can see obviously like a visual representation of what was delivered, what was bounced. If you have any incomplete journeys, also when have been these emails opened, when were they opened, you start getting a feel of times, dates of when these clicks did happen, and also all or any interactions that the pages must have had over time as well. You can also use this to say, for example, what insights you want to see. Do you want to see insights from the last month, in the last 3 months? You can also use this filtering capability here to actually filter what insights you have. We also have an incomplete journey for the customer journeys insights. So which is great because sometimes you just want to be able to see what are the reasons why these emails were blocked, what are the reasons why the email or the contacts or the sender address, why was it not valid? Another cool thing that we have within the application is you can also take this out for further analysis. So say, for example, you've come here in your incomplete journeys, your sender addresses that weren't valid, they will all display under the sender addresses that are not valid. You can also come in here and export this to a CSV file. So, members of the organization can take that and, do further analysis based on some of these reasons that we have here as well. Okay. Um, Yeah, just a brief introduction, and we've gone through the live demo of that. How do we start from going live to running the journey? I just gave you a very brief overview on how we can check all that. One other thing that we need to know, or when you do design your journey, you also need to make sure that they go live. If your journey does not go live, it will not obviously send out anything, any email on there as well. Yeah. If there's any error, automatically it does check for error because of the AI capabilities that the D365 Marketing has. It has ability to check that if there's any error, it will also tell you what that error is. Okay. So it's always a good practice to always check for errors. Or myself, what I do, I make sure that I stop journeys that I no longer need. I make sure I stop them. We talked about the insights, how we generate and collect information about the insights as well. Um, the trial environment, like I said, is free for 30 days. And there's a link. I'll also drop that link on the chat as well. You can also just spin that up and try some of these features. They are really, really cool features. Like Microsoft keeps on improving and investing in Dynamics 365 for marketing. And what it was 2 years ago, for example, it is a game changer. There's lots and lots of features that are even coming out. And I mean, the way I see the application, it will continuously be improved by Microsoft. Yeah. Learning resources, docs.microsoft, this packed. You've got everything from updates to user guides, videos. They even have videos on the docs.microsoft and marketing, and so many other things. If you want to know about cool features, if you want to know about what's new, we have all that on there as well. Yeah. So just to summarize this real quick, yeah, we have seen how we can use customer journeys or use Dynamics 365 for marketing, use it to personalize, use it from all the way to orchestrating these customer journeys that will enable you to find out about your contacts, your customers. What are their behaviors? What engagement preferences do they like? Yeah, what is the right message that you're passing through the right channel? Are you passing the right messages? Are they being on subscribed from a list? Are they in a dynamic segment? Are you marketing to the right contacts? Basically, this application will help you streamline that and give you return for your money. Yeah, return on investment is definitely guaranteed on the app when you use the application. Once again, thank you very much to our sponsors. You guys have been very wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for sponsoring this Canadian Cloud Summit 2022. Don't forget to also, get a chance to win $50 Amazon gift card. Just use that. I've got a code as well, which I will be sharing in a second. But I'll just give you 1 minute to get the code off, and then I will share the code on the screen for you as well. I hope you found this really, really, really valuable. I'm also open to take, questions. If you have any questions for me, that would be really appreciated. The code is 290406. Yeah, I think Mo has already shared that, but yeah, that's right. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you very much. Yeah.